Hey folks, it's Amy in the Crafty Cottage tonight. How are y'all? I am actually going to do a video for you tonight. I decided to give you my ugly mug. Pardon my appearance. I was playing with the grandkids today all day, and hubby had to go to a work meeting this evening to watch a baseball game, team building. So I have the evening to myself. So I decided I would do a recording for you guys. So I'm going to flip you over, and I'm going to show you how I did a technique for one of my Altenew classes. It's the second class. I believe it's Beyond Basics. I'll have more details in the blog and at the bottom of the footer here in YouTube. So anyway, if you haven't and you would mind helping a girl out, click below and subscribe for me, and you'll be notified anytime I post a video. Getting better at this video thing, but I'd love to have you subscribed. So I'm going to flip you over so you can see what we got cooking. Alright. Okay, this is my card that we're going to do. The first one was done in greens. This is done in some pinks and reds. And I've used some Altenew dies for the sentiment hugs and block sentiments for the actual bottom, the just for you part. And I also did this with gold embossing powder. The other one was done in silver. And I also did it in a white embossing powder. And I just can't tell which one I love the most. The stamp that we are going to use today is the same that I used here, called Wavy Blooms from Altenew, and it also has a die set that goes with it. Which one do you like? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make our stencil. First, we're going to need a piece of 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece of white cardstock. I have a Neenah white solar cardstock here. You can use whatever you have. Acetate will work the best, and it will allow you to use your stencil more than once. I'm using the wavy dies, of course, and now I'm going to go ahead and emboss it through the Big Shot. I didn't put this on screen because I didn't have my little one out and my paper's too big to go through the little one. But you want to make sure you put it on your edges, as you see here, so that way it kind of looks like the flowers are floating down from the top, which gives it a really nice cool effect. So I'm going to run it through the embossing folder here several different times to get that effect. And as you see, as I pull it in a few times, you'll get to see the different ways it's going. And once we get it all cut out, we will go ahead and blend it with the 3 colors you see here of distressed oxides. We have Weathered Wood, Stormy Sky, and Chipped Sapphire. And almost done cutting here. One more pass and we should be good. And let's see what the magic has happened. Take our dies, put them to the side, and there you go. I know it looks really funny here, but I promise you it will work. So now we're going to take and we're going to put this over top. If I suggest something smaller, which I did not do here, I would suggest doing something smaller. That way it is when you adhere it down with some washi tape or painter's tape, whatever you have, it will hold better. I'm just using another sheet of the white cardstock, the Neenah Solar White. And I'm going to take washi tape and tape this down in place so we don't have any shifting as we blend. And I have sped up most of my recording so that you're not sitting here for 45 minutes while I do this. And I did notice doing the edges, making sure I got those edges taped down really well, seemed to help with the ends from fraying and getting all messed up. I'm not so worried about the bottom part, just making sure where I have bits and pieces that they'll be good to go. So now we're going to go ahead and start with our blending brushes, and I'm starting with my lightest color first, all the way at the bottom. And this is the Weathered Gray. I like this gray. I'm not so sure, and you see there I slipped because I didn't tape the back. But I'm going to hold it down now to make sure that we don't get any more movement. Now I'm going to switch to my Smoky Sky, which I love this blue as well. This is one of my favorites. It just seems like a nice winter cloudy day, which I could use some winter right now. How about you? And here we have that Chipped Sapphire. Love this color so much. I have used almost all of it and I've only had it a couple of weeks. One of my favorites. Now, I don't feel like I got enough of the stormy sky in there, so I'm going to take a little tiny blending brush that I have, and I'm just going to add a little extra color in here, making sure we get that nice and colorful. Now let's gently peel this up. The gentler you are, the more times you get to use it. Now remember, your ink is still wet here, so just be careful. Put it to the side, wipe up. And now we're going to blend some color on some thick white cardstock. This way I can use 3 of these, and I will have them pop up, but not so thick of a, what do they call it, foam tape. I like that, but sometimes it's just too much. So I'm making sure I have enough room here and coloring my happy so it will match that sapphire color. Let's clean up our table again with our little wipe. And there we go. It's nice and dry now, so we can go ahead and stamp and emboss our leaves onto the stenciled images. We're going to use some Stampin' Up! White that I have left over, and I will suggest that when you do this, and if you're using just paper, make sure you use your static tool on your paper and your card that you're embossing on. It will save you so much headache later. And I did notice that my Stampin' Up! Powder was still very staticky, and I might put some cornstarch in there. I don't know. But don't freak out when you do this. You will get a little of that ink back on your stamp. It's okay. Don't worry. It's because the type of ink that we've used here, it leaves just a little residue, but it comes right off, and you're not going to ruin your image at all, especially since you're going to put white embossing powder over it there. So now we're just going to heat set this here, and just look at the beautiful heat white on that chip sapphire. I just think it's so pretty on the blue. I don't know, I might have to do this again with just this blue sapphire. And we've done the rest of our images here, and we're going to go ahead and heat emboss those as well, and make sure we have a beautiful card base. Now, I did cut my card base down to 4 by 5 1/4 at some point here before I finished up the card. Now we're going to heat emboss the rest of those flowers, and just look how pretty they are. Just stunning. I think it's great. I think the gray would be good, which is gray and black embossing powder. But look at that. Just stunning. All right, now we're going to go ahead and go back to that stencil happy die where I've colored that with the chip sapphire, and we're going to go ahead and cut this out 3 different times. Again, it's with a thick white cardstock. Any kind you choose will work, and it doesn't matter when you cut these out, because I know you can see here in the corner some of those are going to come out with a little bit of blue on them, and that's okay, because you're not going to see those little bits of blue, although I think it looks cool, you know, but you won't see that on the card. Now we're going to adhere these together, and I will say I watched the video from Altenew on this class, and I loved the way she layered her sentiments and things. She dabbed her glue on instead of having to worry about those fine tip glues and shaking all over the place. She did little teeny tiny dots, not even really squeezing, and it works perfectly. I had hardly any mess doing this. What a great idea. So now we're just going to layer these up. This is number 2 with that thick cardstock. And now I'm getting ready to do layer number 3 here. And I will say the end of the video, I'm going to get all this together, and it did not video me heat embossing the birthday sentiment on a piece of gray cardstock, which I will show you a picture of it. It just didn't come out. This is the end, and it shows you the happy birthday. Y'all have a great day. Bye.